All right, welcome everyone. So we're going to make a quick video here on repainting indicators. Before we do though, let's take a look at what we do here on the main videos for those of you who may or may not know. So we test a lot of indicators here, trying to figure out which ones are the best ones. We also test some strategies, so the best out of all the strategies that we've tested. We tested 52 of them. We've had 14 of them that are profitable. Out of all of our indicators, we've tested 739 of them. 294 of them have been winners. The best ones have achieved a 100% win rate. Now you need to go back and watch those videos to understand the context of how they were able to achieve that 100%. I recommend that you go back and watch those videos, like I said, to understand that context. And we have recently started a retesting phase of the winners, putting them through a more thorough testing process, a larger number of trades to see how they hold up over not just 1 year's time, but like I said, a larger sample size of trades. We've tested one indicator so far, and it has maintained its winning status at a 62% win rate. Now we test all these indicators and strategies, or at least most of them, on the Forex market, but they can be applied to just about any market universally. So let's go ahead and jump back over here and talk about repainting indicators. Now, this is a question that comes up, or a comment about repainting indicators. I get probably at least once a month. Someone pops up and mentions these pesky repainting indicators, and asks advice or gives comments or so on. The latest one, and I'll throw it up here on screen right now, came from the comment section on one of the videos. The commenter said, "When are we going to explain indicators that repaint and make things look perfect? This is more important than the indicator itself." And so let's go ahead and dive into what is a repainting indicator. So a repainting indicator is an indicator that will give signals, and then over time those signals can change. And so a prime example of a repainting indicator is the zigzag indicator. I have it here on screen right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at how exactly it repaints. The zigzag, I did go in and change the settings on, so it has a deviation percent of 1 and a depth of 5. That way it's just a tad bit more responsive here. And so let's just find a good spot right here, and let's see if we can't get this thing to do some repainting here real fast. All right, so the zigzag indicator has come down and has created a low right here. Now, what we were looking for it to do is to create a high. And when it creates that high, it's then going to start shooting a leg or a line out kind of downward. And that's going to kind of indicate that it has established a high. And that would, in theory, be a signal. So let's go ahead and play it forward here. Haven't really looked at it yet. Okay, right here is a prime example. So right now it's established a high right here, and it's now trying to establish a low down here. And so at this point, this would be a signal right there to go short. It is giving us a high. It's telling us that this is the high of this move. We should be looking for a short. We should be going short in this market, looking for price action to then go down. Let's go ahead and keep playing it forward and see what it does here. So it actually did a pretty good job of establishing that high there. Now we're looking at this area right here, and it has established a high right there, telling us that this is the highest point. We should now be looking or going short in this market right now. Let's go ahead and play it forward and see what happens here. Right now, right there, you see now it has actually changed that high from here to here. So it has repainted. It gave a signal right here, and as it got new information, it then switched the high to right here. Let's go ahead and play it forward and see if it maintains that high. All right, there we go. So now it has maintained that high, and it's actually showing that this is the lowest point right here, we should now be going long right there. And you even see that switch just a little bit right there. Let's go ahead and play it forward here. There we go. So it did establish that low and is now has that high right there. But now you see that high that was right here has now switched to right here. So this is a repainting indicator. This is what people refer to when they say a repainting indicator. And generally speaking, people refer to repainting indicators as complete trash. This is something that has been perpetuated by quite a few different channels, some really popular channels who claim that repainting indicators are just absolutely trash. And as soon as you find one that repaints, you should just immediately throw it out, move on, and just leave it behind. So initially, this used to be a problem, especially if we scroll back here and we take a look at the zigzag indicator right here. You can see that in hindsight, looking back, it appears as though the zigzag is doing a great job at calling the very bottoms and the very highs of all these moves. Every single time that going along here, we would have probably hit a winning trade here, winning trade here, winning trade here, maybe a winning trade there, winning trade here, winning trade there, maybe a winning trade there, definitely a winning trade there. And so you can see how going back and looking at it, the zigzag looks like it is an amazing indicator. But as I already shown, these points that it's displaying here most likely were not the only points that it gave before it switched to these points. Probably called out a lot of other points before that. While I'm at it, let me give a shout out to our Patreon only channel. Our Patreon only channel is an amazing channel on our Discord server. This is our Discord. This is our Patreon only channel. This is for our paid patrons. Very cheap to get access to this, and there is tons of information on here. We have Sasquatch, who gives wonderful analysis on the Forex market. We have Jay, who gives an amazing analysis on the futures market. Myself, I'm calling out live trades every day during the week of the S&P 500 that I'm taking, working on growing a small account. Like I said, lots and lots of wonderful information there. I highly recommend that you join our Patreon only channel. Lots and lots of great stuff if you're looking to excel your trading knowledge. And so initially, before platforms like TradingView and even the MT platform had any kind of bar replay, the only way for traders to test an indicator and do it with any kind of fairness would be if they would take and scroll way back with the indicator on screen like this, and they would then start over here to the very far right of the screen. And if you use the arrow tabs on your keyboard, you can tab one bar at a time. And so what you would do is you would then look for a signal right here. It is establishing, I don't know how we picked up that line. That's not one we wanted. Right here, you can see that it has established a low right there. And then you would move forward and you would say, wow, that was an amazing signal right there. That was a winner. And then you would keep moving forward. And then you say, okay, it has established a high right there. I would have at that point, or at least on the next candle, started to go short. And man, that was an amazing signal. Got a lot of pips out of that one. Let's go ahead and man, it continued to go down. And then now you can see that we picked up, a long signal right here. So it's established the low right there, and on that green candle right there, we would have went long. And you would go on and on and on and on like this, and this would be the back testing procedure. Now, obviously, you can see how this could be problematic because the zigzag has already went through all this price action, and it has already repainted and given these exact entries into the market, longs and shorts. So in theory, what you're getting is a manipulated win rate of this particular indicator. Now, repainting indicators are not an issue anymore, and that is because most people, and I guess if you don't test with bar replay, then it could be an issue. And if you do it like this, then this is a repainting indicator, or repainting indicators you need to be mindful of. But nowadays we have this fancy thing called bar replay. And the bar replay obviously gives us the real-time information on what the indicator is doing at this particular point in time. And so we would now go along like so, and we would mark that area right there, and then we would continue on. We would then mark this area right here, and we would then continue on. This obviously was a false signal, or could have been. Let's go ahead and play it forward a little bit and see what it actually does. Yep, that was a losing signal right there. Boom. And then you would just continue on like this. I probably missed a few right there as I was playing with this. So let's say that we went short or went long right there on that one. We would then play it forward, and now that is a losing trade. We then have it here, and we would play it forward, and wow, we got a winner out of that one finally. And then you would continue on like this. And so you see that by using the bar replay, using modern technology, repainting indicators is no longer an issue. It can repaint all at once, but I know what it's going to do. In the testing process, it reveals, using bar replay, that this indicator, as a repainting indicator, is no good. Now, that's not to say every single repainting indicator is no good, because indicators are giving you the most accurate information for that specific point in time. And if it is telling you to do something in that specific point in time, then you can either follow it or not, depending on what your backtesting of the indicator has revealed. If your backtesting shows by doing this that it repaints but is also giving accurate signals, then there's no reason to question its repainting. I'm not going to go back and trade in the past. I'm trading the here and now, and I've tested it in the here and now using the bar replay. This is not 10 years ago when we didn't have bar replay and everybody had to do it so manually that repainting indicators were extremely annoying and problematic. And so repainting indicators are not this giant boogeyman that people make them out to be. They used to be, and this is just information from the days old that keep resurfacing over and over and over and over. We need to get out of that mindset. We need to move past that and put this to bed, let it rest. Repainting indicators are not trash. They can be good indicators still, as long as they're giving accurate information in the back testing using bar replay, and they continue to do that in real time in live testing, forward testing, and give you that accuracy that it did in the back testing, then it is still a good indicator. It does not matter if it changes what its initial kind of reading, or its initial kind of idea of what the price action was doing in the past. Again, I don't care what the past does. I'm not going back in the past and trading that price action. I'm in the here and now, and I'm trading that accordingly. And so I hope that explains it for everyone. I hope that we can stop having this conversation. I know we won't, but at least I'll have a video now that I can link to every time someone pops up in the comments and says, the boogeyman repainting indicators, they're so horrible and they're so problematic and all they do is cause issues, and we never discuss those, even though I've mentioned it many times before, explained this many times before. All right, so I think that's going to do it for this video here. A little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but I needed to explain these things a little bit more thoroughly so that way everybody can understand them. And I'm going to go ahead and cut the video here, and I'll see you on the next one.